I'm here with Steve Forsyth, sales controller from Chingford Audi, who's also the local e-tron specialist for the dealership. So first of all, can you tell me about the process of learning about the e-tron technology?
Well, not everybody in the dealership has the training for e-tron at this stage, very much as a pioneering a beginning for it. A couple of us have selected, and from the sales department to actually go to Germany and to have the actual expert training, which was an involvement of actually the concept behind it, the new technology, and how basically it all works. So it's quite involved, and then how a customer's going to adapt from driving a normal petrol diesel road car to actually living with an electrified car, you know, and how that transition is going to be made and how to sell that transition to customers. So yeah, it's a 2-day training event, which is full days. It's very, very good actually. And then you come back as the expert, so to speak, for e-tron.
And with obviously the A3 e-tron Sportback coming out, what at its core, what's the message you're trying to send with that technology to the customers?
Well, Audi's, you know, the brand slogan Technik is the advancement through technology, and it's just the next thing. It's the next thing that's coming out. You know, it's trying to, electric vehicles have been available for quite some time. You know, I think you've had Prius for quite a long time. You know, that's what, 6-7 years old, and then you've got Nissan. So Audi have been quite slow to come to market with it, but it's because they want to make sure that when it does come to market, it's absolutely perfect. And the e-tron is a great model. You know, it seamlessly links between, say, a combustion engine into the electric, the way you drive, the way you handle it, and the way you live with it, and that's really important, because they didn't want it to be too radical, because that's what usually puts people off, is too big a change. So it's, you know, they want to have obviously the green credentials of being a brand which actually does the bit for the environment, but also it's, you know, the technology is very, very good as well.
And this is obviously the start of e-tron. Where do you see that in the future going? Is it something that's going to be adapted into most of the models?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, we've already been told that the Q7 will be the next one that we receive as e-tron. So going into the big SUVs, you know, and then I should imagine then that'll be the floodgates really for all the models to receive the e-tron name. Yeah.
And obviously the A3 e-tron is also still new. But what's the interest been like that when compared to the standard A3? Does everyone who wants to buy a new A3, do they all have a look at the e-tron and
we're yet to receive our very first car, and our showroom at e-tron is actually weeks away, probably 2 weeks away. We had some charging points installed in readiness for that, and first customer orders, I should imagine, will be December time for e-tron. So the people have bought them off the basis that they've seen the A3, the normal A3, and know that the technology is good, and they're trusting the brand to know that they're going to produce a good quality electric car. So I mean, usually when a new model comes to market, you don't have a huge allocation, so you can't order that many of them, and then your allocation size grows, you're able to order more for customers. So we've filled our order bank for e-tron as it sits at the moment. But there is actually only 70 dealers in the UK who are e-tron approved. So we're one of 70, and with our market area, there's actually only 2. So us and Chelmsford are going to be the only authorised e-tron sellers at this stage.
And you think that, you know, being on the outskirts of London will mean that the A3 e-tron being near a city will have much more of an appeal?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I mean, the concept with the dual fuel, the hybrid e-tron, is that actually most people's journeys consist of probably a shorter distance. You know, certainly in and around London, I mean, the e-tron can be fully electric for 31 miles, and then after that point, then you've got a 490-mile range petrol tank in there. So what they're trying to do is actually build people's networks, little infrastructures where they have a charging point at work, charging point at home, charging point perhaps around a relative's house. So actually you can run it fully on electric and never have to go to the petrol. But when there is a journey that you need to do which is longer than the 31 miles. You've got a petrol engine to back you up, so you can do both. You know, it's the best of both worlds, rather than being limited to my electric range and then having to stop and wait to charge for half a day. You know, so you've got the best of both worlds with the e-tron. It's really clever, actually. Outside of London, you know, or where perhaps a bit rural, where things are more spaced out, you still got a 31 mile range on your fuel tank, and seamlessly it will change to petrol as and when the battery charge runs out, and that's the most efficient way to drive it as well. Because a charge, I mean, at current rates is about £1 to charge up your electric tank. Pretty good.
Yeah. And Audi have been using the e-tron technology in their motorsport program for a couple of years now, and winning with it. Does that sort of create a buzz in the sales and, you know, people's perception of the new electric technology, you think, across the board with Audi?
Yeah, I think subconsciously it is. People don't come into the showroom actively saying, oh, they've just won this, I want to talk about electric technology. It doesn't really transfer, as far as I'm concerned, from that. You know, I'm sort of fairly insulated from meeting customers in the showroom, but from my experience, I can't directly see a link from a dealership point of view. I'm sure motorsport fans who buy Audis and follow the brand would be a lot more forthcoming with the information that they know and their interest as to why it's been, you know, their interest is there. But from a dealership level, probably not so much, but maybe more. Once the car's actually here, they can see it, then I should imagine that there would be more interest because of the motorsport success that we get.
Thank you for your time.
Is that
Yeah.